For anybody that does not happen or has not been paying attention, in which I find it a little bit hard because if you have not been paying attention, your friend probably has, or your mom has, or your family members, somebody nearby you has been paying attention. What I could tell you guys off rip is that President Trump has done it again. He is president once more. And I know that there is a lot of just amongst the United States, I would imagine amongst the entire world, but within the U.S., there's a lot of mixed feelings. All right. And even as you can see right there, President Trump, how should I say, are they calling this a decisive victory? It sort of kind of looks decisive because Trump only needed, or just regard whether it be Trump or Kamala, they only needed 270. Wow, that's also very funny as well, 270. So I wonder how many folks are in the Electoral College. That's another interesting question. But nonetheless, though, Trump only needed 270 folks from the Electoral College. He's got 295. So, and even looking at this particular graphic right here, yeah. Man, that's very, very telling, guys. And I'll say my reactions. I talked with our awesome crew before we actually started the episode. I guess to some degree, I am surprised. Surprised in the sense that society has always been weird, but especially into today's point in time, society is very, very weird. And I would have thought that just looking at that particular visual, I can't even, I'm gonna just go through and try to count how many blue states, because there's an overwhelming amount of red states. For the most part, I'm not gonna lie, Trump got geez.
It's like 18 blue states.
18 blue states, which if you're doing the math, 50 minus 18, geez. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's 32, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just say, even just looking at this visually, I'm not surprised that Trump won, but I sort of thought that it would be a little bit closer. When I say this, of course, I'll be very, very careful how I phrase it. I don't want for what I'm thinking to be taken the wrong way. Like with the society that we're in right now, there's definitely been a huge push, a huge shift when it comes to female empowerment. Right. And definitely, I personally don't have anything against it. Even for the stats that we happen to see, there still was a lot of folks. But the 18 to 32, I thought that number would have been a little bit closer, right? Like maybe both of those numbers being in the 20s. That's what I envisioned it. But I also think that part of the reason why the numbers looked the way that they did was because of the fact that even despite the whatever may happen to be the social push, but when it comes to the economy, that is definitely a key point of interest, and everybody has noticed. If nothing else, everybody's wallets have felt the increase in the prices of everything, whether it be groceries, whether it be gas, whether it be housing, whatever it is. I know, again, I'm doing a whole lot of talking in terms of what it is that I and thinking my reactions. You guys also feel free to put it down in the comment section below. I'll even go through and do a good bit of talking in terms of what it is that I've seen. Folks, I didn't even know was like, pro-Democrat or, just rooting for Vice President Harris. There's been a lot of posts that I've seen about, yesterday was a sad day in American history. Essentially reiterating like some of the same things that Kamala was saying in her particular speech about, of course, how, what happened ended up happening, but nonetheless, though, still being hopeful for the future. I know that there's also been, a lot of folks that I've seen that I did not necessarily know was pro-Republican or pro-Trump. How many months ago was it? It was something months ago where Trump was getting hit with all these different charges about what was supposed to have gone down, during his last presidency, and he was able to go through and still win this particular presidency, even though I know that the immediate reaction is definitely going to be present for the first couple of days. There's a number of different things to like think about that. I don't mean to say a comeback story, but a person that was getting hit with all these different charges. I'm still struggling to find the words. I'm still struggling to really fully develop my thoughts. And I know enough to know that it is something to think about, right? And if nothing else, I may not be able to give you guys the full articulation when it comes to what it is that I'm thinking. If nothing else, right? Just keeping in mind all of the, the bankruptcies, keeping in mind all the different scandals, keeping in mind, like, what I want for you guys to also think about is think about the branding. Keep that in mind, because to some degree, if you pay attention to some of these some of these posts on social media, not to say that Trump is a martyr, but there's definitely a different light that's being placed on him. And by no means, those assassination attempts I pray that those were merely attempts and those were not successful.
Your Highness, I was wondering, do you think that the redemption of Donald Trump is because of a rejection by the right of cancel culture, and that this is their secret war against cancel culture by bringing him back?
My answer is yes to that. I'm just trying to find out. I didn't want for the answer to the question to be yes, and then me just either say nothing or say a whole lot of but no. I do think that this is a response to cancel culture. We were talking about this beforehand, how it seemed as though for whatever wave, whatever push, whatever new thing that the liberal side was trying to push for, it got to a point where it became an extreme. Everybody knows the common saying, fighting fire with fire. So, of course, we have that. Evidence to support the answer to the question being yes, it's got to be, it really lies in this fact, right? Because that particular consideration that was brought out about the Republican side, or let's just say the conservative side, push, like, just their fight in the war against cancel culture. Like, I think that is really much supported by the fact that, again, when we're talking about the difference, we're talking 18 to 32. We're not talking 26 to 24 or 28 to 22. If this was a football game, let me see. I'm trying to do a little bit of math. I know definitely in order for the opposing team to win, that's a couple of touchdowns that they're going to have to get. I don't necessarily know how many folks are going to come out and actually say this. So that, there's at least something to actually speak to this. But I think that even for the folks who are, we talked about this too. Like, even for the folks who are on the liberal side, there's a lot more people on that side that, like, it's one of those things where the Republican offered a lot of heavy resistance, but even on the, like, from whoever it is that happened to make up the liberal side, like, there's internal conflict, or let's just, not to say that there was a betrayal, but there was definitely some folks who were like, yeah, there's something off about this whole thing. Again, looking at those numbers, get the impression that strong fight, and some people are just like, forget this. I'm moving over to here because this is not the way, this may, like, there was an overall goal behind this, but also at the same time too, we were shooting past our mark, and it ultimately, whatever the movement was, it lost its meaning over time. And I know that I wanted for you guys to keep in mind the rebranding. I think honestly, whatever other different things I wanted to mention, we probably just talked about within that particular question.
She know where it's at. She know where it's at.